Hello everyone, welcome to Scorcher Toys at Anymoon.com's review of Megahouse's Cosmo Fleet Special SDF1 Midnight Clear version. This toy was released in January 2017. It was a Mega Hobby exclusive, retailing for 7,000 yen. That's before domestic tax and shipping that you should expect to pay if buying this toy outside of Japan. This is the second release, and it comes in a unique box that's more blue and green, sort of highlighting the glow-in-the-dark nature of this toy. Inside the box, you get pretty much the same stuff that came with the regular release. That's a torso with a head, left and right antenna for attack mode, left and right antenna for cruiser mode, as well as shoulder plugs for both attack and cruiser mode. There's a display stand. This version also includes stickers, as well as glow-in-the-dark stickers for effect. This is the second Cosmo Fleet SDF1 that has been released. The first one is this TV version off to the right. If all you are interested in is the TV version, I have a separate video that I would encourage you to go check out. Really, there are no major differences beyond aesthetics between the two toys. There's been no sculpt changes, no mold changes between the two. Neither one handles better than the other one or anything like that. So we're talking about the same toy but in different flavors essentially. So now we're going to look at what makes this toy unique. And we're going to start with the display stand, which you just saw. The previous display stand has the red UN Spacey kite with white. This is sort of an inverse. It's just white with clear in the middle. Get it? Clear, clear. White lettering and lots of spangliness. Do you see the glitter in there? Might be a little hard to pick up. Even the arm has lots of glitter on it. The arm pivots in the base. There's a ratcheting joint on the bottom. There's a ratchet in the middle. Or there's no ratchet in the middle. There's a pivot point in the middle. And then there's kind of a toothy top joint. So that will let you display the toy very securely. It actually succeeds in that. And the arm has some flexibility to it, so you can actually achieve quite a good amount of different poses. The arm is thin enough that it can slide between the legs even, so that won't hinder you either. So overall, pretty decent display stand now with pizzazz. Alright, you guys ready to get weird? Let's get weird. This particular version comes with these stickers. These stickers allow you to make your SDF1 look like it has tribal tattoos, which is, you know, that's a thing. That's cool for some people. I'm not sure I want my SDF1 to look like that. Maybe you're thinking that jives with how the actual SDF1 looks, but no, it doesn't. So not really sure where that came from, but it's a thing. We also have these stickers. These stickers are legitimately cool, and I might use them if I used stickers. Let's go ahead and turn off some lights. And you can see glow-in-the-dark stickers. That's pretty cool. You can apply those in various different locations. Also, now we have a black light going. You get a better feel for kind of how this toy would look if you had it in a display with a black light. Yeah, that's neat. It's different. So there you go. Now let's take a little more normal look at how this toy functions as a toy. Now obviously that blue light trick works a lot better if you have a black background instead of a white one, so I apologize, I only have the white one. If you got a neat display case with a black background, you might be able to use that to a lot better effect than I was able to. This toy in cruiser mode handles fairly well. It comes together, it's fairly solid. Not a lot of gaps where they shouldn't be, although there is one that kind of runs right down the middle and perturbs me. The rail guns are articulated, but there are no other guns that are articulated, none of these guns along the way. The clear version mutes a lot of the panel line effect that we got on the regular version. So in that respect, I am a much bigger fan of the regular version as far as surface detail goes. The clear just kind of makes you lose everything, so that's not entirely fun. Which is a shame, really, because there is some decent molded in detail. From a sculpt perspective, the thing that drives me the baddiest are definitely the aircraft carriers. They are a very thin representation. There's no bridge on the Prometheus, and it extends past the foot, which none of that is very good. dataless, a little bit like a toothpick. So those definitely could have been better. All they had to do was make them a little squatter and a little shorter, and everything would have worked out fine. They're not removable in any way either. They don't lock into position, so while you're handling the toy, it's very easy to bump them. The feet also can get bumped, so it doesn't handle the best. It's a very light toy. There's no heft here. There's no metal whatsoever. It's about 20 centimeters long, which makes it about 1/5800 scale. But it's definitely sold as a non-scale version toy. It's definitely not going to jive with the scales of any of your other Macross toys, but it's not really supposed to. It's just supposed to be a display piece, and given that, and you're not going to be handling it too much, it certainly works in that regard. I normally do separate transformation videos, but for this particular toy, since it's a parts former, it seems more important to do it as part of the whole review. To transform this toy, you rip it limb from limb. I'm ripping you limb from limb, just tearing you completely down to your core. And there we go. Now you have your core SDF1 piece, and you're just going to go ahead and put that aside. You do not need that for going to attack mode. You also have some parts that are in the shoulders that were to cover up gaps. So this piece at the top is removable. Now on the regular SDF1 toy, this can be a little bit annoying because these parts can pop off. On this particular toy, it's beyond annoying because it's clear. And you're going to have to swap it out for a different clear piece. And if you happen to drop anything while handling this transformation, you might lose something forever. And there's no extra pieces thrown in just to, you know, keep you happy in case one falls off somewhere. And to make matters even worse, you have these little tiny clear antennae. Look how tiny and clear those are. These go on the head of the SDF1, and if you brush them on accident, you will have lost your two little antennae forever, and that's kind of a big deal. All right, let's put everything back together. Okay, so I've got the antennae now attached to the head, and I can go ahead and just install the legs very quickly and easily. They just plug right in. The chest pieces, you do need to rotate around a little bit, so find which area should be pointing forward, and then pivot the whole thing back, rotate, and then push forward, so you got this gun having some clearance, and then rotate the front boom as well, and then you just go ahead and press firmly into the chest cavity that plugs into. Same thing on the other side. I've already done it here to speed things along. There you go. Now we're just going to go ahead and install the arms. Now you have to remove that little plug that I showed you before, and then we can just rotate these guns around, bring the arm down, rotate it out, and I'm doing that the wrong way. There we go. So there you are. That would be how your arm should look. Let me just go ahead and plug that into position. Same on the other side. There we go. Okay, so in here we have attack mode, like so. Now we do have new plugs that we need to fill our shoulders with. It's just like this, little tooth on the top that slides right in. All of this obviously very hard to see because I'm doing it on a clear toy. Once you are done, you should have an attack mode that looks like this. Here we have attack mode. You got the normal version off to the right. You've got the iconic red bottoms to the aircraft carriers, the blue and white paint scheme. Without adding those stickers or the glow-in-the-dark effect, the midnight clear version just kind of comes off a little more drab. It almost looks like a shadow of the normal version, which is, you know, in a way kind of cool on its own. Now, the attack mode does have some pretty decent articulation, but it's not it's still an SDF-1. It's not going to be the most fun toy in your collection by no means. The arms in particular have great articulation. There's a pivot point, 2 different joints in there, so that's all good. And then of course they twist at the aircraft carrier, so you could do kind of the out waiting for Valkyries to land on it pose, or a punching pose for the Daedalus maneuver. You can step with the legs. Now you will hit in the front there, which limits your forward sweep of the legs. You can go back pretty far. There's no knee articulation whatsoever. The feet do have a nice rock to them, but it's only left and right. You don't get any front and back, which means if you try to do a stepping pose, it's not going to work very well. So you'll definitely have to balance things as much as you can. But so those are some downsides. The other downside is the antenna extend all the way out to where the guns are. So if you try to bring those guns forward right now, you're going to hit them. So what you have to do is kind of rotate them out of the way as you bring them forward. In my original review, I said remove your antenna, but you can rotate them to get those guns forward. And then you can get the nice attack pose. Now, I've pulled this arm off a few times. In normal handling, you will not find that that arm falls off on its own very much. So there you go. So you can do the firing the gun pose. You can do the punching pose. You could do the landing on the aircraft carriers pose. So it does all of the poses you would need a nice display piece to do. At a little more than 20 centimeters tall, these are basically palm-sized toys, but their only competition is classic Takatoku TV SDF-1 toys. Most modern SDF-1 toys have been the Do You Remember Love variant, and of those, they're much more expensive and typically larger. So this is definitely in its own little niche. The only weakness here is there's a bit of a gap between the top of the hips and the waist, but otherwise, obviously, this toy far superior to the classic Takatoku toys. At 7,000 yen, is it the best Macross toy available to you? I'd probably say no. You could probably do better with the High Metal R VF1 toys if you could find them in that area or in that cost range. These are more display pieces. If you really need a TV SDF-1, it's not a bad option for you. The clear version in particular, though, is an acquired taste. If you are the person who looks at this and says, God, I love that, then the only thing to keep in mind is that there's the little clear plastic pieces here that are going to pop off and potentially drive you nuts. So you might want to buy 2 and do some gluing, and then you don't have to worry about things popping off. Okay, check out anymoon.com for my full article, and as always, thanks for watching.